This is the Group 4 Fallacy project. The narrator of the intro is Joseph. The part for the whole fallacy narrator is Hunter. Jillian is the narrator for the appeal to ignorance fallacy. And Albert is the narrator of the non sequitur fallacy.
Good morning, class. My group and I have 3 informal fallacies that we're going to be presenting to y'all from home. First, we have Hunter that's going to explain part for the whole, which is closely related to hasty generalization, which means drawing a conclusion from an insufficient sample. Second, we have Albert explaining the non sequitur, which is based on the idea that the statement does not follow the main argument. Third, we have Gilly appeal to ignorance on the belief that if a statement cannot be disapproved, it must be true. To start off our presentation, for those who do not know what's informal fallacies, a quick summary is that it could be used to describe something that is addressed in everyday arguments, depending on what's getting told. This gets characterized into 3 different persuasive techniques you might remember of ethos, logos, and pathos, depending on the argument you have. Next up, we have Hunter presenting his part for whole fallacy, where he explains more in depth and examples for y'all to understand in this informal fallacies. Lastly, stay tuned for the rest of the amazing presentation. Thank
you. Okay, part for the whole fallacy. Part for the whole fallacy is somewhat related to hasty generalization. Arguers use this fallacy to say that something that is true for the sample would be true to the entire population. Basically, like, say LeBron James said something mean to a reporter or something, and somebody takes that and says, well, if LeBron James said that mean thing, he must say only mean things all the time, which would just be untrue because you're trying to generalize that to the entire population, which would not be true. LeBron James doesn't say mean things all the time. Another example, Joe buys a lottery ticket and he won, so everyone should buy a lottery ticket because you'll win. You're just basing it off of Joe's winning, and as we all know, it's untrue that it'd be likely you would win because there's not a good chance. Some real life examples. Come on. This ad is taken from the UK. It is an anti-drinking ad, and if you look closely on the tag on the foot, it says every year over 1,000 people in the Northwest die as a result of excessive drinking. And it says, what's your poison? Which is insinuating that if you drink excessively, you'll die. And that's kind of a fallacy, because if you just take the sample of 1,000 people and say that it's true they drank excessively and they died, but it can't be generalized to the entire population, because not every person that drinks excessively dies. So that kind of makes it a part for the whole fallacy, because it's taking that one part, the amount of people that died, and trying to say you will die if you drink excessively.
I'm married, and I used to be a smoker.
Okay, this is a ad which I think most people have seen. It's from 2012, from the CDC, and it's an anti-smoking ad. It's a quick 30-second clip, but I think it contains a part for the whole fallacy.
I'm married, and I used to be a smoker. I want to give you some tips about getting ready in the morning. Lord, your name. Then then your hands read the Bible, and now you're ready for the day.
So it's a pretty powerful, moving ad, and it feels wrong to nitpick an anti-smoking ad, but it's insinuating here that if you smoke, you'll end up like Terry here with a voice box and face those same repercussions. And so they're just taking a sample Terry's experience to generalize that it would be true for all smokers that if you smoke, you'll end up like this, which I think is mostly untrue. There's a lot of other health problems, but her experience does not represent every person's experience, which makes it a part for the whole fallacy.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jillian McLean, and I will be going over one of the three fallacies that my group and I are supposed to be covering today, and that is the appeal to ignorance fallacy. Definition goes as follows. The appeal to ignorance fallacy claims that a proposition must be true because it has not been proven false, and a proposition that has not been proven true must be false also. A real-life explanation of this would be two students are arguing over whether or not aliens exist. One student claims that aliens must be real because it has not been proven false. The other student disagrees by arguing that aliens are in fact not real because it has not been proven to be true. So the appeal to ignorance fallacy for this situation is pretty appropriate because it can be seen from both sides. You can argue either side of an argument, complete opposites, and it can still fall under the appeal to ignorance fallacy. An example would be the proposition or someone saying that there is no definite proof of God, so he is definitely not real. This argument and this proposition is very fallacious because making the argument that God is not real because it has not been proven is extremely offensive and undermining to all religious groups or even just individuals who believe in a higher power. In closing, the appeal to ignorance fallacy relies on the idea that if a proposition has not been proven true, it is not true and vice versa. So the appeal to ignorance fallacy, like pretty much all other fallacies, has some holes and imperfections in the statement, even though it seems like it would be a logical argument. But because of things like belief and religion and opinions, the fallacy falls, and there are holes in the logic of it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Alberto Baeza, and today I will be talking about our third and final informal fallacy, and that is the non sequitur fallacy. So, understanding the non sequitur fallacy is actually not that hard to understand. This fallacy is a term that is based on the idea that a statement does not follow up to the main argument, a claim that is supported by irrelevant or unrelated comments. But to put this into a simpler definition, it is a conclusion or reply that does not follow logically from the previous statement. So, pretty much in other words, it is a claim that has no logical connection to what was stated before it. So, we are going to jump right into how this fallacy is used, and usually this informal fallacy is used for mainly comedic purposes or comedic effects in various forms of entertainment. And by various forms of entertainment, I mean the range of this goes all the way from podcasts to videos to movies, TV shows. It could honestly be used as a joke in your everyday talk, and you probably wouldn't even realize it. So here are a few examples that I was able to find of a non sequitur online and a few that I personally created. But I like the ones that I found online more, so I'm just going to read those first. So the first one is I read about a pit bull attack. Our neighbor owns a pit bull. My life is in danger. The second one is the woman my brother married was a heartless woman. She was from New York. New Yorkers are terrible people. And the ones I created, they're okay. I mean, it's whatever, but I mean, what else can I do? So the first one is my mom's Prius does not want to start. My cousin's trailer is on fire. Um, the second one is I went to the ER the other day. I like hot dogs.
This is Hunter again. To conclude, this presentation briefly summarized the three fallacies we talked about: the part for the whole fallacy, the non sequitur fallacy, and the appeal to ignorance fallacy. These fallacies are used to make arguments in daily life, and it's important to educate yourself because you may find that you could identify them a lot in articles and advertisements and like political propaganda. And yeah, so if you learn to identify these and think critically, then you'll be more educated than your peers. Thank you for watching.